As she said, Brindaji managed to build a rainbow coalition around this issue, and Mrs. Sushma Swaraj made a very strong speech in Parliament that definitely had an impact in pressuring the Norwegians to be more reasonable. And in that context, I would also like to mention Mr. Vinod Tikoo, the late Mr. Vinod Tikoo. Unfortunately, he passed away last year, and I think his family members were going to be present here. Are the Tikoos over here? Namaskar. It's really wonderful to see them. Mr. Vinod Tikoo was a member of the National Commission for the Protection of Child Rights at the time when this case came into the news. And as Brindaji has explained, professional child rights activists tended to be quite skeptical of any criticism of the Norwegian handling of the case, because that is the format in which they have been trained to look at child welfare and to look at families. But in Mr. Vinod Tikoo, we found, an extraordinarily rooted and confident advocate for the Indian form of child welfare and development, which I wouldn't even necessarily say that it's family-centric, because that tends to be misinterpreted as South Asians and Indians in general just forgiving the family for everything. It wasn't so much that it was family-centric as that it was compassionate. It was humane. He was willing to listen to everyone involved in the story, and he was very democratic about it. At some point, the Norwegian ombudsman, who supervises the child welfare municipalities over there, had got in touch with the head of the chairperson of the National Commission for the Protection of Child Rights. And she very much came from this, from the ideology and for the advocacy of this very Norwegian style of child welfare. And Vinod Tikoo had already a history of questioning her on this. And I saw how, often there was a tendency to simply dismiss him because he wasn't seen as an expert. But he wasn't having any of that. And he really gave it back to the Norwegian ombudsman and made it perfectly clear that, dropping broad hints about attachment disorder or development delay in the child and all was not going to make his mind up as to what would be in the best interest of the child. And in the teeth of a lot of skepticism and from effectively his boss at the NCPCR, he persisted in taking up this case and in meeting the children and triggering, because this was still new, although we had the infrastructure for child welfare committees all over the country, in triggering the local child welfare committee, the district child protection units to understand what their powers were and get involved in evaluating the family, evaluating Sagarika, putting her through all the procedures that were needed, including visitations with the children supervised to see that they could be reunited. And after this, since the case was such a high-profile case, there were many families that then started getting in touch. And Vinod Tikoo was like an angel of mercy for them. Thank you so much for being part of this here today. Thank you so much.